What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be switching things up. We're not going to be talking about digital nomad stuff or productivity. Instead, we're going to be discussing one of my favorite apps in the whole world and also, sadly, talking about some issues I've been having with it. So, the app in mention, it's actually Airbnb. And I'm sure you're familiar with Airbnb if you've been traveling around. It's one of the best alternatives for anyone to get a long-term accommodation or short-term accommodation that won't break the bank. So if you know about Airbnb, you know there's a lot of reasons to love it. I'm sure you're familiar with how you can easily book, pay through the platform. You get amazing protection, both as a guest and as a host. But sadly, if you've read the title of this video, you already know why we're here. And this is because I've encountered something different with the platform while traveling through Asia, and I'm sure some of you may have encountered this issue as well. The issue in mention is hosts trying to charge you extra fees outside of the Airbnb total breakdown. And this is obviously not a good behavior for any host, in my opinion, but it also breaks Airbnb's policies. If you're encountering some of these issues, we're gonna go over two quick ones so you can just get a sense of what to do in that situation and how to handle it like I have over the past couple of months. So the first situation you may encounter are extra charges or hidden fees in the listing itself. Usually when you go look at a listing, you will see the about this space description. That's where most people expect to find all the description and all the information about the apartment or the place, the accommodation that you're looking at. A lot of hosts have gotten into the tendency to actually list extra charges there as well. So sometimes you will see stuff like electricity or an extra cleaning fee required for different kinds of stays. Just to give you a little backstory, here I was in Vietnam 1 month ago and the host was actually charging me for electricity because it was a long-term stay. That was listed in the description itself, so I was aware about it, but I still got surprised when I got the bill and it was around 100 euro or more. So even if they list stuff here, you should always be wary because stuff like electricity that has a number and it's counted by the host itself, you don't really know what you're going to get until you see that final bill when you leave the apartment or the accommodation. That's just one of the reasons to not be happy with this kind of behavior from hosts. But, okay, if you finish reading the main description, the next spot where you might find this kind of stuff is going down through the list in itself to all the other categories. But sometimes hosts will hide this stuff really well. And this is what happened to me a couple of days ago. Actually, while I was here in Malaysia, I was looking for an apartment in Phuket. And it turns out that the host actually hid all these extra charges and extra fees that I was being charged under the house rules categories. And guys, this is the first time for me that I see anything like that in the platform. So I was just completely unaware of it. I ended up booking without knowing about those extra charges. So what happens next is I get a message from the host giving me my welcome spiel and also listing all those extra charges for a long-term stay. In this case, I was really outraged because those extra charges included electricity, included the internet, an extra cleaning fee, and I don't know what else that I'm forgetting. But man, come on, the Wi-Fi, they were really charging me for Wi-Fi because I was a 30 plus day stay. And it goes against all of Airbnb policies. So be aware of those extra charges listed in the description and in other places before you book. But what happens if you actually go through the booking? And that's the second situation that we're going to be discussing here today. If you're like me and you didn't see those charges, then you're going to be in a pretty tough situation because the host is going to be requiring those for your stay. You can either cancel yourself, and that applies the host cancellation policy. So most of the time nowadays, after COVID times, if you cancel, you're not going to be able to get a full refund. So that means you'll end up losing about 20, 30% or more if you're pretty close to the dates where you booked. And man, that is the definition of true hell. Because you only get two choices. One is to either go ahead and just move forward with your booking, knowing that you'll be charged all of that stuff, including things like electricity, where you don't really know how much you're going to be paying until the end of the month. Or the second option is to cancel and just lose a lot of your money. But there's a third option, and this is why you're watching this video. So if you've encountered a situation like this, please don't give up. I don't want you to go ahead and just move forward with the booking, or I don't want you to just go ahead and pay for it if it's not what it's supposed to be. Remember, Airbnb is a community, and a community that was made to make both the traveler and the hosts who are sharing their home as safe as possible with no hidden fees. We're all about protecting that idea and protecting that community that was founded a lot of years ago. To do that, Airbnb has a lot of policies, as I already mentioned. And most of the time, the policies will describe exactly what a host can charge, even if there are extra charges that are not listed or that are mentioned but you didn't see at a glance. These extra charges include, as per Airbnb's policy, things like taxes or different payment methods, or things that hotels are usually required to ask for, even if they are a host in Airbnb. Most of the time, what I've encountered throughout my couple of months here in Asia were not those kind of charges, and those were charges that, in my opinion, should be included in the listing. So, with all this information, you can go ahead and contact Airbnb. And this is what I suggest you to do in any of these scenarios where you are in the tough situation or having booked something, and then the host is asking you for extra money while you're there in the accommodation or before the time, like I am in this case. So contact Airbnb, tell them the whole spiel, and also make sure to mention that this is a deceptive practice, as hosts are attempting to get more money from the guest and escaping Airbnb's regulations. Maybe they're attempting to avoid the fees. Maybe they're just trying to get some more money easily by saying things like electricity and whatever. Or maybe they're trying to stay competitive in a market where everyone's charging less, so the only way they can make up the money is to actually have those extra charges there. Anyways, this kind of behavior is not helping us build a community that we can feel safe with and travel with without any concerns. So you should let the Airbnb team know about your concerns and what the host was actually doing. You want to make sure to list the Airbnb policies and how the host is clearly breaking them by asking for things like Wi-Fi, electricity, or an extra cleaning fee that should be already included in the price. Also, what you can do, and what I did in the case of Malaysia when I was looking for the apartment in Phuket, was just go browsing through the host's reviews. Maybe they have a bunch of reviews from other listings, not necessarily the one you're looking at, but they have multiple reviews. And if that's the case, then it's likely that this behavior has been repeated for some other guests and that they were pretty mad about it. What you want is to find reviews that mention this kind of thing, and that are negative, of course, so that you can take screenshots of them and send them to Airbnb. This is super important because if you actually back up your claims with another guest, then it will give you more power to actually leverage the Airbnb team to find a solution to either cancel their reservation for you or to have them pay your fees, your extra fees, because you just don't want to pay them. And this is what happened to me in Vietnam, where Airbnb actually paid my, I don't know how much it was, like $100 for electricity and stuff like that. And I was surprised, but they didn't really want to lose the host, so they had no option because they want to make me happy and they want to make the host happy. So yeah, just to wrap things up, guys, be aware of those extra charges in the description of the listing, anywhere there, even in house rules, as I already said. And if you end up booking somewhere where they're asking you for more money, even when you're there, or where you just had that welcome message like I did, then make sure to contact Airbnb. Know your rights, know the policy of the platform when it comes to those extra finicky charges, and also know that you got a lot of leverage when it comes to negotiation with the Airbnb support team to either get a refund on that particular accommodation or to have them pay that and then maybe penalize the host going forward. Who knows what they're really doing with that. But I hope this is addressed by the Airbnb platform, because it's definitely something that's turning me off from trusting Airbnb completely with my money, because I know that I always have to be on the lookout for those extra charges. And I don't know if it's an Asia thing, because I've never seen that in Europe or in the US. I think most people there include all the charges under the Airbnb breakdown, but I'm not sure, so I can't speak for everyone, but I was definitely surprised when it came to that here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different, but if you're facing this particular challenge, I hope this can help you get some answers and just empower you to find a solution that will work for you, because you don't deserve anything to do with this kind of issue. Thank you guys for watching, and if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're all about digital nomad and productivity stuff in this channel, so if that's your kind of thing, subscribe. I'll be seeing you guys later. I'm Fernando. Bye-bye.